Hello, 'tis I, Fat Cow. I want to talk about dumping syndrome. Yes, it's a real thing. It's also known as rapid gastric emptying. It happens after eating. Basically, the body will produce huge amounts of insulin to respond to the sugar in your meal, or if your meal was high in simple carbohydrates such as a bread bun, potato chips, breaded coatings on some chicken perhaps, which the body will turn into sugar, and the insulin response will do its thing, but excessively, and it will cause the lower intestines to empty rapidly. This, I suspect, is the reason why Foodie live streamed her endeavour to return home as quickly as possible. Why she continued to live stream as she tried desperately not to soil herself, I don't know. Part of me, a small part of me, thinks it might fit into a certain feeder's fetishes somewhat. Not her husband's, because he obviously has no interest in her whatsoever, in any way, shape or form in that department. But we do know a certain individual in chat who's very generous with his money is not just interested in watching people eat. Need I say more? Anyway, let's talk about something slightly more pleasant, shall we? Why would a 30-year-old man show his new bride Pokemon cards? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Especially on their first or second night together ever. I mean, it's hardly romantic. And why would an almost 30-year-old man be so excited about his Pokemon cards that he'd prefer to show his bride days instead of doing what brides and grooms usually do on their first couple of evenings together, followed by watching films and playing video games? What almost 30-year-old man plays with stuff like that? And finally, why was Foodie so bloody upset about the music? Was it because it was too loud? No. Foodie had gone out to go to a particular establishment to eat a particular food she was craving. It wasn't Wimpy's for an ashy sandwich either. But upon arriving at the aforementioned establishment, in the hope to eat the aforementioned food that she was particularly craving, she discovered, to her horror, that they had loud, copyrightable music playing, and therefore, in order to eat the food she was craving right then, she would have to go off live. And heaven forbid that she eats in public without her emotional support visas. Perish the thought. So she found somewhere else, somewhere quiet, and fortune favoured her and her stroppy little tantrum and presented an almost exact replica of an ashy sandwich, and then made her intestines rapidly empty, just to thumb its nose at her. Look, it's obvious that Foodie has nothing to talk about at all apart from food and responding to reaction channels. Without reaction channels, those group of people she so despises and is so bitter and enraged about, she would only have food to talk about. She's not allowed to talk about Salah, and Salah's not allowed to be on screen. I think his father made it very clear that this was what was going to happen from now on, and Salah only got a reprieve because the burial of a beloved pet was an exception. And even that was a mockery. So, the only thing left for us mere mortals to do, as there is very little content to comment on, is to mock her. That's all that's left. Making a mockery. Or digging up history. We could do that, I suppose, in lieu of actually having actual content to reply to. Because it's food, or it's need in the bathroom.